Welcome back to Fantabulous, where we do handbag product development sketches. Today we have this fun little beaded French clutch evening bag. Probably antique. I'm going to say it's definitely vintage. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is the usual. What we do is we put our fellow down and we measure. So we get some kind of idea of what our, proportions are. 8 by 5 to the frame, and the frame itself is about 5. Okay, very nice. Okay, so let's go for it. Okay, so let's take our little metal ruler and we're going to go ahead and use this centimeters instead of inches to give us a little bit of an idea. There you go. Okay. All right, so okay, there and here. So okay, so they're about that, and that. Oops. All right, there. So let's go ahead. We have some idea of what we're doing. All right, so first thing, we have like the frame, which has a little bit of an kind of curve to it. It might actually be an optical illusion, so there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to give our top of our frame, it has like a little lip there, and we're going to make the curve come out from the frame. That's usually how it works. It comes out from the frame like so, and then we're going to do it here. It's coming out from the frame like that. And it has like a nice kind of half moon body there. There we go. All right, next up, I have this cute little kind of braidy detail over here. Okay, this is kind of more curved, so let's make sure we got a curve and not a... Okay, so the braid is kind of like, looks like a braid, so we're gonna draw one. Now I'm going to take this later in a second video and probably put it into a Adobe Illustrator file and do the beading, because if not, you're gonna go crazy. You can, I used to do it before. I graduated FIT in 97, so just to date myself. Adobe Illustrator wasn't really used back then. It existed, I'm sure, but not to most people. We had something called a CAD, which was like something totally different. Anyway, let's not get into how old I am. Okay, so here we have our idea of a braid on top. Now, I got this little fun thing here. It's nice. It's got like kind of like a rosy kind of look. So I'm gonna do that right here. So it's a little bit smaller than that. It's kind of a small little guy there. Okay, so here we're going to do the same thing. I'm just doing lines to represent the beading because we will be doing, like I said before, we will be doing that on the computer. So I'm just giving myself guidelines right now. Okay, so here's our little bag. Okay, I think this guy's a little bit too long here. Get that out of there. Keep your proportions right, and don't be afraid to use the eraser. Okay, now we have here this very interesting kind of beaded detail over here. So let's start with that. Let's put this over here. Drag our sketch down and we can look at it while we do it. So I'm going to make a plumb line for myself so I can use it as a guide. So the first thing I'm seeing here is a flower. So that's what I'm going to do. Try to keep your details as close to proportion as possible. And we're just giving ourselves an idea of what it is that we're doing here. Okay, so we got our flower. Oh, okay. And then it has like a line around, like a taupey kind of a colored petal in between. And we're doing the same thing here. There we go. Okay, so now we have our little flower there. Actually, these might be a little bit bigger, so let's cheat them out a little bit. All right. There. Okay. Maybe he's a little bit chunkier there. Ah, yeah, lovely. Okay, great. Now, let's see what else we got. We got here like some kind of like round thing also. I guess it's a cherry or something. All right, doesn't really matter. Okay, so from here we're getting this like lovely kind of tendril thing. So let's start that. Get that tendril, and it's going till about here. So let's go there. Okay, so we got our tendril. Tendril, okay. Nice word, okay. Nice word for spelling bees. Okay, so now the next one goes till about there. All right. Do the other tendril, which is pretty much, it should be the same. As you can see, because it's hand done, it's not exactly the same. It doesn't matter for us. We can try to do it the same. Okay. Tendril, okay. Lovely tendrils, tendrils, tendrils everywhere. Okay, so, all right, we're doing okay. Okay, so next, we got tendrils over here too. Okay, let's first fill in our tendrils. Here they have these purple kind of little plums or whatever they're supposed to be. That's okay. Let me just draw them in. We have another one here. Now, if you're copying, you have to actually copy, make it exact. If you're, you know, given carte blanche to just be inspired by something, which is always fun, you can do whatever you want. Okay, so now we have that. Next is, let's see what we got up here. We got more tendrils. Somebody really liked tendrils, so let's do our tendrils. Okay, tendril. Okay, there we go. I've got a tendril here. And we got a tendril coming out of here. Oop. Okay, there. Tendrils, tendrils, tendrils. Okay, and then it has like another one of these kind of things. Okay. That tendril didn't come out so good. But it wasn't bad, but it wasn't matching the other one. It had to be a little bit closer. Now, in most cases, if you're just copying this, you would just send the whole bag to wherever China and say, copy it. And hopefully they'd come back and say, sure. And send you a beautiful sample, and then that's the end of that. However, many times they will tell you to improvise, which case we're not going to do that now. It's really fun and you can do it yourself. But in the other times, you actually won't have a sample. You will be copying something, or sometimes in unscrupulous places, they'll take a sample from another factory and send it to you, and you can't actually send your factory, the original sample, because that's kind of cheesy, you know, like stealing samples from one factory to another. I've seen it done. Not very nice. Okay, here, so that's why it's good to have good skills. Sometimes you can really get good at this, and you know, the best thing about it is the boss will love you because they don't have to send samples to China because the cost of it's very expensive. Also, like I said, if they're copying something that they shouldn't be copying, they'll want those skills. Of course, it might make you feel like 2 cents, but you know, you're getting paid, hopefully. Okay, here we go. So we have more tendrils. Wow. Okay, so let's get that tendril in there. Now remember, these are just guidelines. We're not actually drawing anything. When I do the drawing of the bag, I'm not going to detail each bead. That's not what we're doing here. Okay, so now we have this kind of interesting detail. It actually is to hide. There's a little dart here, which I'm going to draw it. That's a necessary design detail. They need that to have some volume on the bag, and it's covered with beads, so no one's really going to see it. So they kind of like made it into a design detail. Okay, maybe it's a little bit farther in. They made it into a design detail, so which is fine. Kind of nice to hide things. Okay, so there. So now we have our view. Okay, so here actually we're going to draw in the side seam, which it actually does have. You can see it here. It's also covered with beads. This thing is gorgeous, and it's made in France, so I have nothing against French people. Okay, let's see. So actually we have to do some tendrils over here. Okay, so this tendril goes like this, and this tendril goes like that. And then it has another bead here, and another one here, and then it has another tendril that goes here, and it has a little beady thing here. Okay, so, wow, that's a lot of beads. Okay, so now we have to copy that to this side, so let's do that. Okay, so the next first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our little flower, cute little poofy flower here. Okay, that one didn't come out so good. Okay, there, that's better. Remember, this is all getting covered with beads anyways, so you don't have to go too nuts with the tendrils and all that kind of thing. Tendrils, tendrils. Okay, so next one we're going to do our tendril. Just saying tendrils all day. Tendril, tendril, okay. Now let's see how it looks into, no. Didn't get it to match as well, although even on the bag they don't match as well because it's all hand beading, which is probably a big pain in the neck, I don't know. Tendrils, okay, so we got a ball here, and we got a kind of a little, let me see, I gotta cheat this over because it's looking too close. There, all right, there. Okay, so now next tendril. Actually, this one needs to be a little bit bigger. Okay. Okay, next tendril. This one goes kind of like, I remember, goes toward that. Okay, I got a little too close to it, but again, we can always fix these things. There we go. Okay, now we got our tendril there. Next tendril goes, again, this way. Actually, that's a little bit more. Actually, they're different. One's hanging down, one's in the middle. I think I'm just going to copy one to the other on this one because that's the best way to do things. Okay. Okay, so now I need to put another little berry or whatever this is supposed to be here. And then we have another one that's coming out of here. All right. So as you can see, some of our pencil lines got a little bit erased. I think I'm going to cheat over this side seam over and make this a little bit flabbier here because I'm losing some construction details here. Okay. You can cheat a little bit here and there, which is fine. Okay. Now, all right, we're down to the fun stuff. Well, the inking stuff. Let's see how it goes. So let's see. First thing I'm going to do is grab my brush pen. My lovely, lovely brush pen. And let's get down a little bit. Okay, let's get down and start. Okay, let's move our bag over, and here we go. Okay, so first things first is we're going to make our outer edge with our brush pen. And that's going to give you a sense of depth, a sense of solidity. You're dealing with a real thing, not really, but kind of gives you an idea. Now, one thing you want to do, because I use a lot of auto trace and stuff like that on Adobe Illustrator, you want to make sure that those lines that have to be perfect are perfect and that there's no holes in lines. Okay, so here, because I want to give an idea of beading, I'm doing a little bumpy line, and that is the crease line that you get over here. I'm drawing it from this type of purse because it has this opening here. Okay, that's what that is. Okay, so here we go. Do, 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 do. This kind of thing is great for your arthritis. Okay, let's see. All right. If you really want to, you can turn your page around if it makes things easier for you to draw. Remember, I had a teacher named Professor Mears, I think it was. No, Nears. And she was always very fond of saying, work smarter, not harder. I'm sure a lot of people say that, but she used to love to say it. And you know what? She's right. Okay. So here we go. we're getting to the bottom of this, and now we have a nice irregular even line. Now look at that. Okay, so now what do we got to do? We got to do a lot of detail work. So let us get our fine line. There you go. Fine, not extra fine. Like I always tell you, you want to make sure that you are doing, when you're especially going to do something that's going to go on a computer, you can use your, want to make a super straight line, use a super straight metal ruler. Okay, let's see some pencils, some eraser things. Okay, there. Okay, now we're getting someplace, not quite sure where. Okay, all right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to draw in our braid. Now remember, this braid, when it goes to Illustrator, is not going to really be filled in, but we're going to do, or maybe it will be. I mean, there's so many different techniques of doing things. Okay, just remember to close, keep those little braids in there. Give a sensation of braids. Okay, we're doing good. All right, okay. Get in there, and we're going to do some more braids. These are the top braids. Top braids, top part of the braid that we saw there. And there's like a multitude of colors. That's going to be interesting. I don't know how I'm going to do it when I actually do the pearl kind of idea, but it might be a pain in the neck, or it might be nice. We'll see. Okay, now next is this. Now actually, that, because it's an opening clasp, I want to give it some idea of depth. Okay, there. Okay, so we're going to make our lines. And then we're going to give ourselves our lines. And we're almost ready with that. Okay, now next is, let me see if I can do this a little bit. Okay. These, like I said, are guidelines for now. Okay. I get the feeling that the Adobe Illustrator file on this is going to be humongous. But anyway, I'm not going to worry about that now. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, we're getting someplace. We are getting someplace. All right, we're good. Again, these are going to be guidelines. We might have to erase these guidelines on the computer. Okay, there. Okay, that's okay. It'll be there. All right. All right. Not sure. I didn't actually check on the original if all the beads are the same size. It's possible they're not, but it doesn't really matter because they will be on the computer. when I do them. All right, just pretty much cut and paste a bunch of different little things. Just plop them all together. All right, we're getting there. All right, now we're going to do more tendrils, because this bag is all about tendrils. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's get this one. Can you say tendrils, children? Okay, let's see. Don't be afraid to shift your paper in any direction that you are comfortable in. Remember, you are the master of the paper and not the other way around. You are the master of the pen and not the other way around. If you're comfortable drawing sideways, draw sideways. And we're off. Now, I know this can be a little bit tedious, but in the end, the more you draw, the better off you'll be. In terms of product development, anyway. Okay. All right. All right, here's another one. Okay. Okay, did I say tendril already? All right. Enough with the tendrils already. Okay. All right, we're getting someplace nice, I think. It's like the children. Are we there yet? Not quite, but we're getting there. All right, there. And if your cans get tired, just shake them out. Shake those fingers out. Okay, here we go. Now this is a seam, and then this is a detail of beading. Okay, here we go. And here, remember to do our side seam because that's an important construction feature. Okay, so now we're on to the next flower, which if you find that your flowers, you don't like them, they look uneven, if you're going to do this on the computer, you can always correct them there. Cutting and pasting makes everything even. Okay. Being that we're working with an original sample that was made by hand, you're going to find some inconsistencies, which is why people like handwork, because it's kind of like very artesian and it's got all sorts of handicraft details, and some people like those little imperfections and they buy them and pay a lot of money for them too. Okay, here we go. There we are. All right, that didn't come out too good. Okay, no worries, we're almost there. Little children. Okay, here we go. 1, 2. Let's do this one here. 1, 2. Let's move this around, and there. All right. Now, last one. Last tendril. Okay. And then we have this little thing here. And here is our bottom dart. And now we have this little cute, whatever this is, detail over here. I don't think it's supposed to be a tendril, but we'll say it's a tendril. Okay. So now our sketch is done. Let's get a look at it. Let's move this up a little bit. Oh, how nice. Now, what we need to do now is erase everything that we don't need. So we're going to go ahead and erase. Okay. Excuse me. Very nice. Okay, wherever you see some stuff that you messed up, get rid of it. There we go. Very good. Okay, so I'm glad that you can join me for this lovely edition of Fantabulous, where we draw product development handbag sketches. And I hope you enjoyed this class. And if you have any questions, please drop a line, send me an email, and subscribe if you liked it. Thanks. Bye.